district, you know the Pope listens. Dynasty, our religion, for the blokes missing. On all of these trades, on all of these plays, on all of these grades. By the end of the day, y'all getting played. So, what you gonna do next? Try to fill up that flex? Send the homie a text, that trash offer's the best. You try to make it complex, then they text you back. Now all of a sudden they don't make any sense. Broaden your horizons, boy. Dynasty's not for the Simons, boy. These trades not for consignment, boy. Respect your opponent, y'all some piranhas, boy. This my advice, from me to you. Open up your cute little podcast queue. Search up GOAT District, my dude. Pop it in your ear, man. Y'all know what to do. It's the... And I always be trading. And I always be trading. And I always be trading. Y'all try to betray them, but first you gotta bait them. Fish.
What is up, Fantasyland? Welcome to the GOAT District's Thursday Tailgate with myself, JD. I'm at JD GOAT District on the X machine, and I got my buddy Rob at the Harry Snowman. And from today till the rest of the season, we're going to be here every Thursday, 12 noon Eastern, like we are today. We welcome you to join us live in the chat. We're going to make this interactive. We're going to bring you guys the information you need to make the right decisions. And we're going to make it interactive. You guys have some good data to bring. You don't agree with something, we want to hear it from you guys. And we're going to finish it off with kind of our best bets in the sense of your start sits, whether it's fantasy. If you're looking at player props, we're going to get into the weeds with those. We're going to look at the lines. You can see it on the screen right above. Tonight, we are at Arrowhead. And we've got a divisional battle, if you want to call it that. I mean, divisional games, let's face it, are always more interesting than we think, no matter what the scores or the records are going in. And tonight we have kind of a lopsided one, Rob, when we're looking at the records. You've got the Broncos are 1-4, and then you've got the Chiefs, obviously, at home, 4-1, coming off of a big win that we were talking about in Minnesota.
Yeah. KC 10-0 straight up against the Broncos last 10 games. So coming off of a big game, you got the Broncos coming off Hackettgate, right? A little bit of a distraction there. Chiefs coming off a solid game on all three sides, right? The offense played well. We have the defense held the Vikings to under 20 points. Special teams played well. A couple of field goals. So
agreed. And look, it's reflected in the spread, right? So right now you see it on the screen. It's still at 11. The Chiefs favored -11. The over under is 47. So top end of the 40s. You kind of expected, Rob, when we look at, like you mentioned, especially their past four games, they've been above that 40-50 mark even in some cases with a 34-28. The one interesting thing is when you're looking at the spread is they've all been within 6 points.
Yeah. I'm not really necessarily looking for the Chiefs to cover this margin. 11 points is a lot at home, maybe, but it's a lot off a short week.
For divisional, right? The last time the spread was that wide or bigger was 22-9 for KC. That was December 5th, 2021. And even the game prior to that was, like an 8-point difference. So divisional, I find it's always hard to get that wide spread. But Denver hasn't really looked the best this year.
Yeah, and the trend is there's really no trend there as far as covering 5-5 overall against the spread last 10 games. So not a lot there.
All right, you guys are killing the chat right now. Loving the chat. Sorry, I'm just getting caught up here. Didn't realize the chat was rocking. We got Jose Pena, Jason Allwine, member of the Player Profiler crew, Ray Chung. Guys, welcome to the show. So let's get into it. Rob, why don't you get into the weeds? Set the table as we like to say, with the data, the research that you've pulled in for this special.
Okay, so coming in right now, Broncos 0-4-1 against the spread last 5 games. Broncos coming in, or KC coming in pretty hot, 2 out of 3 they've been covering, but nothing special, right? To follow as far as that stat goes. I'm much more interested in the over/under in this game. That's something we can kind of hang our hats on. The last 4 games, Denver's come in over by a bunch. 9 of their last 10 games over. The last 3 KC Denver games have gone over. All of them been in all of these in the 40s. And when we have a line, an over/under in the 40s for KC games, they're 7-1 over the last 2 years over whenever we're in the 40s. So we're sitting here at 47. Trend says over. So if I was to look at anything strong in this game, that's the strong stat.
Yeah, and I mean, the interesting is when you look at them point per game year to date, funny enough, they're right beside each other. They're both top 10 teams. You got KC at number 9 with 25.6, and then Denver right behind them at 24. The difference is when you go back, when you start looking at the defense, right? Especially versus the running game. Denver's at the bottom in a lot of those. I mean, KC's a little weaker versus the run game when you're looking at yards per carry. But the data definitely supports what you're saying with the over/under, and even what we started saying with regards to the spread. So if I'm understanding properly, it looks like we're walking towards an over 47 and Denver to cover at the very least right now. That's kind of where we're sitting, where we feel the data puts us.
Yeah, I feel more. I mean, I don't necessarily am looking at an over/under cover or like whether they're going to cover the line or not. I just don't feel comfortable laying the points. But there's no real. I think the over is solid. I think that if we're looking at something, what we can hang our hat on is the over. And if we're doing the money line, I mean, clearly KC has won 10 in a row. Those are the strongest stats. But who's going to cover? 11 is a lot to lay in a short week. And then, I mean, look at the Denver defense. I mean, you're going up against KC. How can you? I don't feel comfortable betting on Denver either.
Yeah, and Jamie mentions taking an alternate spread, whether you're teasing it one way or taking it back maybe from that. Maybe you don't think they'll cover the 11, but maybe you think they'll cover, by a touchdown. So you take that 6.5 and just lower the reward factor.
I think it's a solid approach. I think that's a solid approach.
Yep. Just trying to follow the chats here to make sure we're not missing anything. You guys are on it today, man. I like this. I like the activity in the middle of a Thursday. And don't forget, guys, we'll be back tonight at 7 p.m. Eastern for the usual, which will now be the weekend tailgate, where we'll basically look at kind of the rest of the season. We've got a special guest tonight. Kevin Wheeler is in the house from the 33rd team. And Dan should be back next week for those. I know a lot of you guys miss the flow, miss my boy Dan. I know I miss him.
I miss Dan.
Yeah, I think we all miss Dan being around. So let's kind of get into details now. Why don't you talk more specifics? Let's look at player matchups. I know that's one of your strengths, and that's one of the things that I picked up working with you on some of our FFPC teams, is you really get into the details in ways that I don't normally. And that I think it brings a lot of value, especially people that are getting their information here that maybe don't have time to do that research to that extent.
Yeah. Happy to dig in a little bit here. So Marvin Mims over tonight, huh? Let's start out, since you got some chat in there and you're asking. We got Mims going up against L'Jarius Sneed, right? First of all, one thing we got to understand about the Denver defense is they're moving around their defensive backs. It's not like you sometimes you get 90% they're on one side. Here we're getting about 60% of the time he's going to be on Sneed, but that's going to be a good advantage for Mims as far as relative speaking to the other receivers. So, but all of them are bad matchups against the receivers. So I'm looking at maybe one catch. I got Mims is going one catch, 35 yards. So that's an over, but it's still only one catch. Getting into the weeds on the rest of this stuff, though, first of all, when we're looking at the Denver defense, it's all plus matchups across the board. So if you have players going with KC, you're probably playing anyways, but everything's a plus matchup across the board. So you can play all your players. The best matchup is going to be on Tony, all right, going against Jaquan McMillian, 87% of the time he's going to be in the slot. So it's a good chance he's going to line up there. The problem with Tony is, when he's good, he gets 5 to 6 targets, and he hasn't cracked the top 60 in wide receivers yet. I mean, maybe we get 60 yards out of him. We're looking for more than likely for KC to score some points. So you're hoping for a touchdown out of a few of these receivers, maybe a couple of them. But, pot luck with who?
So let's take it back one step, just because Anthony mentions Mims. I didn't ask you. I meant to ask you because we were on the topic before we move too far forward. 17 and a half is his over under with yardage. Is
Should
that
be
something?
over.
Should be over that, right? Because even
Should
if
be
he's been catching long bombs, even if he just gets to the one that he's been,
Yeah, he's caught one pass in every game. So you're assuming he's going to hopefully get one more reception. Last time it was like 5 yards or something like that. I assume that it's not going to do that twice in a row. So yeah, I think you're going to probably go over 17 and a half this game.
Jamie with the Tony. But it's the problem is with a guy like that is, can he stay on the field for a game, let alone just a quarter or a half?
Yeah, he's an injury waiting to happen.
Yeah. All right. Now, who were you just talking about? Was it Kelsey?
We were talking Tony a little bit. We were just talking about all the positive matchups.
So Tony's over under, or Rob, just to put it out there, is 30 and a half. The over is a +1. The under is a minus 130.
Well, I mean, look.
On DraftKings.
Yeah, Tony is averaging. Let's see what we got. Tony's averaging 35 yards. And what did you say? It was 30?
30 and a half.
30 and a half, and it's a plus matchup. I'm over, right? So yeah, as is, we're averaging over that, and then we're getting a plus matchup. So I'm looking for more, maybe 40 to 50 yards. So yeah, I'm over on Tony.
Yeah, I mean, look, we actually maybe should have done this in the beginning, but we just next time we'll do a quick review on how we did this week, because last week the DJ Moore call was pretty good. We could have pushed it even further when we looked at the alternate yardages.
Yeah.
And I think you even mentioned that there was a good chance he blows that out of the water. But yeah, well,
pretty sure I was like around 92 to 125 yards in the projections, and we are at 50, I think, or something. Yeah. No huge discrepancies in this game, except I will say that Pacheco's the star of the game, right? Pacheco has the best matchup, and also, when you plot it out, probably goes over 100 yards. He's scored a touchdown now in what, 4 straight, I think. Let me look what we got. Pacheco touchdown.
And Denver, just to add to that while you're looking, Denver last in rushing yards, yards per rush. You name it, Denver's right at the bottom. So Pacheco should have a field day.
Yeah, touchdowns 3 straight games, double-digit carries the last 4 games. He's averaging 80 yards per game. He's had at least 1 reception in every single game. He's only dropped 1 pass out of 13 targets, so he's averaging almost 2.5 targets a game. Yeah, this is a game where Denver is 31st against the rush and the DVOA that I'm looking at, 27th against the running back coming out of the backfield. So you have both plus matchups on both things. Yeah, short week. Small game plan. I'm assuming you're going to see Pacheco get the ball more. So,
anytime touchdown, minus 170 for Kelsey, minus 155 for Pacheco. And then Tony's a plus 300.
Yeah, pot luck with everybody else. I do expect. I expect Mahomes. If we're saying that it's going to be around 10 points and it's 47 points, we're thinking that more than likely Casey's going to score about 28. Right, and that gives you.
And let's remember, Rob, the most out of everything we talk about today, the most important piece of information you're going to hear right now is that it's confirmed Taylor Swift will be at the game. So Kelsey for sure gets the touchdown, and he's for sure going to smash.
Yeah.
At home as well.
Yeah.
Against division.
Denver, number 29 against tight ends. So it's not like they're stopping anybody. Kelsey for sure. But coming off that ankle injury, I don't know how many yards he's going to get. I think he's going to be there for a few first downs, critical downs, critical moments.
I think that as much as the anytime touchdown is kind of like a dart throw almost. I think in this case for Kelsey himself, that might be the best bet if you're going to take a Kelsey prop.
Yeah. And same with Pacheco. Pacheco scored in 3 straight. He's not going to score against one of the worst run defenses. Come on.
More than 74.5 as his over under.
Yeah. I have him up near 100. I have him pretty close to 100,
which is minus 135. Okay. Perfect. Anyone we didn't talk about, like you expect one of these, Sky Moore, Rashee Rice, MVS, they're kind of lottery tickets, no matter how you try to put them into the equation.
Yeah. I mean, they all have plus matchups, but it's just, you know what? It's a lottery ticket, right? You don't know which one's going to score at any given week. I mean, it's really, but I think all of them will have plus, matchups. All of them should be involved in the game. If we're looking on the other side, women weaken legs. Her. He got me going with Rocky now. Rocco. If I'm looking on the other side of the ball, right, it's almost all minus matchups except for the tight end for Denver. All right, so rushing, pretty much all the receivers have minus matchups. The tight end is a little bit of a question. I guess the question is, does Dulcich start? And if Dulcich starts, that might be a startable asset in fantasy.
We tried to check that before we came on air. According to NBC Sports, the player news section, it was like 20 hours ago. He was still questionable and was gonna be a game time decision. If somebody listening has something different, I'm gonna check on the good old X machine to see if there's any more recent updates. But that was the last update we got on Dulcich.
Yeah, Dulcich could have the best matchup if he plays. If it's Troutman, they're in trouble still. I mean, they're in trouble regardless this game. I don't expect a real big game. I mean, they'll probably hit some plays, but they're in trouble as far as the matchup goes. Let's see what we got. Anthony, Tony, plus 3.5 receptions. Tony, I have he's getting 5 to 6 targets. We're looking at Tony 3.5 receptions. It's going to be right there. Probably more. I mean, like I said, this is a plus matchup, so I would probably, if somebody was forcing me to pick one, I'd probably pick higher. Pacheco parlay plus 49 on DK. I don't know what that is. Start to half PPR. Oh, we got a start sit question.
There we go. So Kyle's money. Start 2.5 PPR. Lockett, Wilson, Godwin, Ramondre. Got to sit Ramondre until further production. No. Let's maybe answer the Ramondre question first. What are your thoughts on the running back? I know we had high hopes for him in the district this year, but that offense as a whole hasn't panned out. So when the offense isn't working well, it's hard for the running backs to do anything special.
Yeah, and it's Bill Belichick. And when has Bill Belichick ever run a bell cow back unless he has to? I mean, he always runs a committee. I think people came in with expectations that Ramondre was going to be filling 2 roles and not 1. I think Ramondre still, but then, like you said, the offense isn't performing. So until I see something out of them, it's very hard to trust any of the running backs in that backfield. I mean, not just Ramondre. But yeah, Ramondre too.
Yeah, his best week, unfortunately, this year has been his first year. 6 receptions, 89 total yards against Philly, and then it's been single digits except for week 2 against Miami. So you hope they turn it around in In New England, look, if they decided to blow it up, would they consider trading Ramondre? Who knows? I mean, that could be.
Yeah, sure, always. I could easily see Bill Belichick trading Ramondre if he got a good offer for him. They would trade anybody. I mean,
Actually, let's go back. Sorry. So Jason Allwine, I think he's referring to Dulcich.
Yeah, that's a Dulcich.
Yeah. So if you're looking at Lockett, they're coming off of a bye. Garrett Wilson,
I like Godwin.
on a bit of a roll, I guess you could say, the New York offense. Godwin has been a little quieter, but last week popped a bit. Who do you like out of these four?
Well, Godwin, I like right off the bat. We know that Evans has a hamstring. He hasn't practiced this week, so you're looking at most likely things funneling towards Godwin. So I like Godwin off the bat. I'm sitting Ramondre. It would be between Lockett and Wilson.
Lockett's playing what? They're playing Cincinnati.
They're playing Cincinnati, and they're playing on the road after a week prep.
Implied Vegas odds, Vegas points 21.25, according to Player Profiler.
Yeah, I mean, tough. I think I'm leaning Lockett, even though, yeah, I lean Lockett. Godwin and Lockett, I think I would go just because who's Wilson's playing Philly? Although, wait a minute, let me just check real quick.
I think I'm with you. Lockett for sure. And who's Tampa playing this week?
Tampa plays. Let me look. Tampa plays Detroit. So I expect Detroit to be able to kind of stuff up the run. So I do expect Tampa to be forced to pass.
Yeah, they're gonna have to throw it.
Let me see real quick. I was looking at the DVOA on the matchup here. Hold on.
Okay. So you look at that. Yeah, I mean, Anthony also saying Lockett and Godwin. I believe Eagles are horrible against outside wide receivers, says Jamie.
So Jamie's right. Garrett Wilson, right corner, is going to most likely be up against Darius Slay, but Slay hasn't been that great this year. So, I mean, there is matchup there. It is a plus matchup, and if I'm looking at the DVOA on it, hold on. And Darius Slay is great. I mean, but just this year he hasn't been terrific. Let me see what we're looking at on that side of the ball.
So Ramondre is not. You're not starting Ramondre. It's basically between the three receivers that you're deciding.
Yeah. I'm. And then we got Cincinnati at home against.
For me, I'm with Anthony. I'm locking in Lockett and Godwin as my picks. I mean, Godwin popped last week, so you gotta he's gonna build on that. They just started with Mayfield, right? So maybe they take a few weeks to build that rapport. I know him and Evans were clicking early, and then they're playing Detroit. They're, like you said, they're going to be stuffing the run. They're going to have to throw the ball, even if it's garbage time. You got to think Godwin's going to be part of that. And Ramondre just not looking good right now. So,
yeah, I'm locked in on those. I mean, I think that you're looking at Godwin for sure and Lockett. All right, guys, what else we got here?
So any other questions? Keep the questions coming, guys. If you have specific start sits or anything really. Zach Wilson could literally die from Jalen Carter.
No joke, man. No joke. I mean, but you know what? Look, I think Zach Wilson's getting a little bit too much guff this year. He's playing better than he was the last time we saw him.
For sure.
And
it's a good point though, because if he is under pressure, like we've seen him play better, but I think he could still get razzled for sure.
Yeah. I definitely like, if I was to pick one, I like Philly. I mean, like if we're talking about games that we're picking. I mean, I do like Philly to cover. I like Detroit to cover. But I think that those are games where Brees Hall game. Brees Hall, maybe. Yeah, I could see that. I could see a Brees Hall game.
I think every game is going to be a Brees Hall game moving forward. I mean, until they get another quarterback in there. Why not?
He's a force. One play and he's 80 yards down the field. For fantasy, you have to play him. I mean, just for the ceiling. Let's see, what else we got going today? How do you like New Orleans, Houston? That's like a slop fest. I think there's all sorts of stuff there. There's going to be someone that comes out of that game. Maybe Olave.
Yeah, let's go back to this game. Let's go back to this game.
All right.
We could go. We'll be in here for 3 hours. We start going.
All right. Let's talk about the different players.
Yeah, well, last week we put together a prop, little parlay, you and I.
Okay.
Why don't we start looking at what's out there, what kind of lines are interesting, not interesting? We talked about a few. I think we both like Pacheco over.
I like the Pacheco over. I like the over on the total. That's probably the strongest thing I like.
Okay.
So I like over 47 points.
Anything with the passing quarterbacks?
I've got Mahomes at minimum 270, 3 to 4.
Got it right at 268.5.
Yeah, I've got him at a minimum of 270 though, with 3 to 4 TDs. So, I think that Mahomes should go over that because that's just Sky, MVS, Tony, Kelsey, Pacheco, and not the rest of the field. There's going to be people that are going to catch like one pass, like Gray will catch a pass for 15 yards, and you'll have a bunch of guys who'll get like one catch. So I think for sure he goes over 270. So if you want to put that in there, I think that's a good bet. If I was to bet this. So
Anthony's asking, you think Denver's auditioning receivers for trade bait? So do you think they're going to just pepper?
I think they've been doing that all season. I think they've been trying to trade Cortland Sutton and Judy since the beginning of the year.
All right. So far we like the over on the points. We like the over on the Pacheco rush yards.
Mm-hmm. We like all of that. What else did we just had something else too. The Mahomes passing yards. We were over 270.
Yeah, it was at 268. I mean, it's close, and you got to wonder if they're going to need to throw that much, especially if they get ahead early or their defense gets a touchdown.
It's the nature of their offense. They're going to pass. I think he's going to go over 300 yards. I mean, I think that's just a standard game for Pat Mahomes is 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. And if this game goes to script, you got, Sky Moore with 70, MVS with 30, Tony with 60, Kelsey with 70, Pacheco with 30. You're at 270 yards. I mean,
so would you want to go? So right now we've got Mahomes over yardage, Pacheco over rushing yardage. Do we want to tease Pacheco's yardage, or do we want to look at do we want to add? We talked about Kelsey anytime touchdown. Or Pacheco anytime touchdown?
I would do Pacheco anytime touchdown. He's going to score. I'm not going to say for sure, but I think he's going to score.
You don't think that Taylor Swift forces the Kelsey touchdown no matter what?
I think Kelsey's going to score too. Does that help? I think both of them score a touchdown. I think
so. If we put Kelsey, Pacheco each getting a touchdown, Mahomes over yardage, Pacheco over rushing.
Oh God!
Over the 47, we're at plus 750.
Plus 750. Okay, sounds doable.
Right,
actually,
let's lock that up. That'll be our little parlay. We'll track those every week. When we come back next week, we got to remember to look back in the rear.
It's a lot. It's a lot of moving parts. I mean, I wish we had something that was just shooting that we could just move the bar a bunch, but I don't trust moving the over under past 47.
What about Mims? Didn't we have something on Mims that we could throw in there?
Yeah, but I'm not that solid on any Denver player. I mean, honestly, the only guys, Perrine, is it Perrine? Perrine. He might end up doing better receiving the ball out of the field, maybe over 30, 35 yards. I could see that. I don't know where he's at, but other than that, the tight end, if Dulcich plays, I think that there's an advantage there. Otherwise, everything else is a minus. It's all under.
All right, done. The bet's in plus 750. Touchdown Pacheco, Kelsey, over on the yardage for Mahomes, over on yardage for Pacheco, and the over 47 for the point total.
Yeah. I think
So Anthony brings up a point. Over on Mahomes passing and Pacheco rushing seems counterintuitive.
Happens all the time. I mean, but Mahomes gets the team up early, and then they drain the clock in the fourth quarter. So
Jason, you're making me want to take the under on the game.
you take the under. You go ahead. You do it. I'll be happy to take the other side.
There you go. Jason and Rob can get a little backdoor bet going, a little under the table. What about one guy we didn't talk about is Jaleel McLaughlin. I know he's had some success recently. He's a guy I've got on some teams, got out whether it was off waivers or kind of in dynasty, but he's been popping. Do they lean on him a bit, even though they're going to need to move the ball quickly?
Yeah, I've got the rushing split for Denver. I've got about 25% of it going to Pirine, 25% to Javonte, assuming he plays, and then half of it going to McLaughlin. And so I have it broken down basically 20 yards, and 40 yards for McLaughlin. But again, going against KC, the rushing defense, it's a negative matchup. It's a minus matchup. So if they're averaging whatever they're averaging, they're about 10% off.
Interesting that Jaleel right now is currently not listed when you're looking at rushing yards on DraftKings. They've got Pacheco, Javonte, McKinnon, Mahomes, and Wilson.
Yeah, is Javonte going to get more involved? Is that what they're thinking? I mean,
they only have him at 35.5.
That would be more involved. I have him at 20. Okay. So they have him as being more involved than what I thought he was going to be at.
Okay. I mean, maybe Mahomes. Well, yeah, it's a divisional. I was going to say maybe Mahomes under with the rushing, just because if we do have him passing that much, but you never know. He just takes one run and he's got 23 yards.
Oh, Mahomes. What are you talking about? Taking his rushing yards?
Rushing yards is at 21.5.
I don't know. I don't think he's going to have to run.
That was my point. That was my point, to take the under. But then I was thinking, like, he just needs to run once. You know what I mean?
Right. And it could be wide open if everybody turns and does man-to-man and he just manages to slip behind a corner that's running down the field, because everybody will be. Yeah. I mean, I don't feel comfortable with that. I usually try to, get things down to one or two. There's not a lot. I mean, look, nobody knows it all. And ideally, hopefully we get into these little brainstorming sessions with the chat, with you, and we're able to kind of distill some stuff out, like the over or maybe the win, loss, the straight up. And, but some of this stuff we start reaching for it. You got to be careful. It's nobody knows everything.
So I'm just reading the chat here. Yeah, unfortunately for Jason, I guess he's in Georgia. That's like me with underdog. I'm near Toronto, and no underdog for me. No, what's the other one that you guys play? That used to be the BB10s, the NFFL, or anyways.
DraftKings, I think is one.
DraftKings, I can't do DFS. I don't think I'm able to do DFS. I can just do the sports betting. And then underdog, we unfortunately can't either. But
anybody out there have start-sit questions for tonight? And anything that you're looking to decide whether you're going to be starting a player or not tonight?
Do we have any tough ones
on our team?
Yeah, because we've got our Fantasy Pros championship. Let me just pull that up. Here we go. So the lesser of the two teams is 2 and 3.
Yeah.
So that one, I mean, I guess, Spears. We've got Spears in, Hubbard, Pacheco, and then I don't think we're playing Gibson or Murray. So that's
No,
I think they're pretty set.
No, we got Pacheco in for tonight. That's going to be enough for us for tonight. We'll feel good coming in on Sunday morning. I got a feeling.
What about the 3-2 team? We've got.
Hold on a sec, Jamie. No, we missed on our 3-2. We've used a lot of our fab. We didn't get anybody on our 3-2 team.
That's right. Okay.
So, but that's Now
let's get to Jamie's question. Nobody cares about our teams. Let's face it. Until we win the big money. I mean, nobody cares, right? So Jamie's got a question. Gabe Davis or Judy? I have Gabe in now versus the Giants' horrible team.
Let me take a look real quick.
So you've got Buffalo, who is at home to the Giants, over under at 44.5. Bills favored by 14. Davis has had a couple pretty good games. He's got some touchdowns.
Yeah, he's going to line up against Deonte Banks 72% of the time. He's going to be that's going to be it's about even matchup, I'd say. But Gabe could still get open on that. Stephon Diggs is obviously going to have the matchup advantage on Adoree Jackson there. But let's see, and then we have.
So Jason says, I only like starting Gabe in shootouts.
Yeah,
Anthony's saying like we've been saying, he has been getting volume, which is nice because he was more sporadic, I find, in previous years. Which I remember, Rob, not toot my own horn, but remember saying that James Cook and Gabe Davis were two of the biggest buys this offseason. I think it was like month of May or something.
You've been on Cooks.
Yeah, and both popped. So I hope you guys went and bought that during the offseason. Yeah. But
guys, and anybody who's listening to this, JD and these guys, summertime, you listen to them, the best. I mean, I have put no, seriously, I mean, you want to win at this stuff. You got to listen to people that know what they're talking about. And so, smart people listen to smart people.
So if we're looking at the specific question with Davis and Judy, do you?
I want Davis.
You're leaning Davis. Okay.
I want Davis. Yeah. Judy's going to go against Trent McDuffie. Trent McDuffie's going to probably shut him down. I would say that if I was going to roll the dice on either one of those two, I'd go with Gabe Davis. Gabe Davis has a better matchup. It's not like, look, and when we're talking about these two guys, remember, we're not talking about somebody, you can't bank on anybody, but if I was going to bank on it, if I was going to pick one of those two, that's who I'd pick. I'd pick Gabe Davis.
Oh, I love that trade, Jason. Traded Madison for Cook and Thielen, July. That's beautiful. That's exactly the trade. A guy I wasn't on, and for two guys that look good for 23.
All right. What else?
So I think that's it. What are we in now? 40. We're just under 40 minutes. I think we'll wrap it up. We've got our. Here we go. We got one last question here. Fat single mom. That's a first. That's hilarious. I don't know how to take that, but it's funny either way. Should I trade CeeDee, Gibbs, and Miles Sanders for Amon-Ra and Mostert? Ooh. Is this dynasty or redraft? Can you please specify? Because that's a big difference. See, for me, Amon-Ra and CeeDee cancel each other out in a way. Like I know CeeDee's not performing right now, obviously, but let me see. No, if Dynasty agree. DM's about to blow up. So let us know if it's redraft or Dynasty.
It's got to be redraft. I got to think it because if it's Dynasty, no.
But do you like that for redraft? I'm guessing the win now is getting Amon-Ra and Mostert, and then I feel like you're chasing previous production in this trade. No.
What do you, in what side?
In the sense that Gibbs could be Mostert, like at the back end of the season, and Mostert can go back to being Mostert.
Right.
And
are you chasing the points?
Maybe Dallas figures it out.
I don't think Dallas is going to figure it out.
Yeah, I mean redraft. I don't like Miles either, so I think if it's redraft, I don't hate it. I don't hate it,
If it's
especially with
redraft,
Achan. Achan's hurt
right,
in that
right, and
offense.
right, and Amon Ra. The only question is he's got this toe thing, but he's supposed to come back this week. So if he comes back this week, then yeah, then I like the Amon Ra side. I think that if I had to do it, I'd give up for seasonal,
He's
not
saying
definitely.
Dino. He's saying it's or Anthony's saying it's Dino, but I'm not sure
Oh
if that's
no,
yeah.
not in Dino.
In Dynasty,
No,
don't do that.
no,
Don't do
yeah.
that.
Gibbs is going to be great, man. Gibbs will
Yeah.
be good for you. No, yeah, no.
All right, Broward _ Bravado. Nico Collins, who's a pleasant surprise out there in Houston with the rookie CJ Stroud and Adam Thielen. Carolina, I mean, he's getting peppered just because he's, kind of the only option. But Carolina right now, it's funny. You got two different like offenses here. You got one that's ascending and one is descending.
Let me
Who's
see.
Houston playing this week?
Carolina. Houston is playing against
Saints.
New Orleans,
Yeah.
and Nico's going to line up against Marshawn Lattimore. I mean, that's not great for Nico.
And then Carolina is playing Miami, which you got to think they're going to have to be launching the balls all kinds.
They're gonna. You figure they got to be coming back, and yeah, Thielen's going to be going to have the best matchup in that. He's going to be going against the slot corner, Cater Kohu, most of the time, and he'll have an advantage there. So yeah, I'd say Thielen between those two. Thielen.
Yeah, I think you're stuck on the two. You go Thielen. You want to play your better, just your better
Nico's been a
player.
little inconsistent. Thielen's been really consistent with targets. Nico might be able going against Marshawn Lattimore. I just don't trust Nico Collins this week. I think I'd rather have Thielen going against whoever this guy is, Kedu Kohu. I've never heard of him.
So Nico Collins, just wanted to pull up his game log. Yeah, he's got two. The thing is, when he does hit, he hits hard. Like he was the wide receiver 5 in week 2 against Indy, and then the wide receiver 3 against Pittsburgh in week 4, scoring almost 36 points in that week 4 game and just under 28.
Yeah, but Thielen gets points too, and he can. If you're in PPR, and he gets 6-7 catches. 1 touchdown, he's going to be in the 20s.
Yeah. All right. So,
where do you come out on this? I'm coming out on the Thielen side. What I don't know what side you're coming out
on. I'm probably going Nico Collins. When I'm not sure, I'm usually leaning just the better player, the better offense. I get the matchup situation, but who knows, man? With Houston this year, a lot of people have been getting them wrong. A lot of defenses have been getting them wrong. So
they do look special, don't they? You look at the defense; they look special. I will give all props to Jason too. Jason's been all over Houston all off season, and I kept saying, "Up, Shaw. They got no receivers. They can't get off the line. They're getting off the line. They look good. A lot better than I thought they would." So.
Ricky AA, should I drop Kareem Hunt or Jameson Williams for Roshan Johnson, redraft, or neither? Keep my guys. If you can get
Kareem Hunt.
I would for sure drop Kareem Hunt for Roshan. That's a no-brainer. And I would keep Jameson if you could and get both.
Yeah. Kareem Hunt.
Let's see. Carolina. I'm just trying to scroll. Oh, here we go. 10-team. Jamie's got Dynasty 10-team Superflex. 1 to 4 with the lowest points, or 1 and 4, sorry, with the lowest points for looking to rebuild. Give up Pollard and Kamara for Christian Watson and a late first.
How's your wide receiver core doing? Because you're looking at running backs and wide receivers at the end. So you're giving up Pollard and Kamara.
I see where I kind of do this too, though. If I'm in rental mode, I'm getting rid of my running backs quick and I'm investing in picks and receivers just because they seem to hold value a bit more. I think that's probably what Jamie's doing there. I don't hate that. I don't mind buying Christian Watson either. He's still kind of coming off of that injury, and it's still, they're still kind of building that offense a little bit. So you're kind of buying low there. Normally I would say I would separate the two big pieces in Pollard and Kamara, but I don't know that Kamara is a big piece anymore,
Yeah, with especially with them investing in running back again. I mean,
Exactly.
I think the writing's on the wall in New Orleans.
I don't hate it. Like I'd have to kind of sit down and look at the actual value of the players and stuff. But I think like if I'm just looking at, again, you're in reno mode, you don't need guys that are giving you points, right? Because you want your picks to be a little better. I don't hate it.
I don't hate it. Because late first, I mean, you've got a lot of good players in the draft. You get a Marvin Harrison, Jr., and now you end up with Watson and Harrison coming into the year. Those are assets that are going to last. I mean, assuming that Watson, pans out. Harrison's just such a slam dunk.
So I mean, the guys are saying breaking Broncos news.
Judy got traded.
He did get traded?
Judy got traded. This is his last game. Jason Allwine is putting that out there in the chat per Matt Lombardo. So
do we know where?
I don't know. Do we know where, Jason?
All right, you guys let us know. We've got a couple more questions here. Actually, there's a Judy question there, so let's get back to that once we have that information.
This will be his last game, so he's playing this game regardless. But you just don't know how much.
How does that work if a guy gets traded?
That's what I'm saying. Like how
super weird.
Because if he gets hurt in this game, now what is it, trade over?
Personally, I'm not playing Judy. If he did get traded, this is real news, and he got traded, and he's still gonna play. Like that's weird to me. Like he should be.
He's not gonna play. He's not gonna play. Even if this might be his last game with Denver, but I mean, he can't be injured if they're gonna trade him, so they're not gonna play him. Because they're going to want the asset. What are they trading them for?
Anthony's saying his guess is Carolina. I guess they haven't said it yet.
Judy, I mean, so we're
breaking news right here on Thursday Tailgate in the Goat District. Love the chat though for breaking the news. Jason Allwine, newsbreaker extraordinaire, breaking it right here in the district. We appreciate him. We appreciate all you guys in the chat, guys. Make sure you smash that like too, man. Show the support. Make sure you subscribed and you're smashing the like button.
Jason's saying the Panthers, guys.
There it is. All right. So for me, any question starts it where it's involving Judy. Personally, whenever there's that kind of uncertainty, even if they say he's going to play or not, I'm sitting him.
And now what happens with Adam Thielen? Do they move Thielen out of the slot? Because now you got Judy. Judy's going to come in. He's going to probably play in the slot. So what do you do with Thielen?
Forget that, Rob. What about tonight's game? How does this change tonight's game, right? Now you've got a receiver that we talked about in that Broncos offense. We talked about KC running up the score, stuffing the run. So Russell's got to throw the ball. You got to think, who's he throwing to now? Especially imagine if Dulcich doesn't play and Judy's out.
Mims.
Like, does Sutton smash the over as the only?
Sutton's got a tough matchup, though. I mean, Sutton's going up against Josh Williams, but that's the worst matchup on the field. I mean, him and Judy both are just about the same, but it would be Mims. I think but Mims hasn't been getting the ball. I mean, if he gets, maybe I don't know. It doesn't sound good. Who's backup? Who's the backup to this guy?
So Jason's saying he doesn't think it affects tonight's game. If anything, Judy to elevate value, to elevate his value. I think is what he's saying.
Is the trade done or is the trade not done? Are we definitely going to trade after this game? Or I mean,
yeah, we'll get back to that. I'll take a quick look here. Another question from Gogo Jin: will Jonathan Mingo outscore Rashee Rice / Mims Jr. rest of the year?
Probably going to outscore Mims. Maybe. Well, I don't know now. I don't know. We have to see how this shakes out once Judy leaves. But Rashee Rice. Wow, Rashee Rice has really been establishing himself as the number one, right behind Kelsey. So
in an offense where we haven't seen rookie receivers necessarily, command
well.
or make their place early.
Look, when in doubt, I look at the quarterback when I'm talking receivers. I would rather have Mahomes than.
So my thing is this, Rob, is Mims has at least given you like production that you can use in a start. You're not starting either one of these guys every week, right? These are spot plays. So for me, just being in Rashid being in the better offense with Mahomes, and then with Mims showing us that all he needs is one or two decent targets,
maybe Mims.
Yeah, for me, I'll take one of the two. Like maybe go buy Mingo if you like him in Dynasty, because now with the Judy move, anyone you like in Carolina, if you do like anyone in Carolina, does this help Bryce Young? I guess it helps Bryce Young.
Does it help? Does it help the receivers there? I mean, Jonathan Mingo has more competition now.
Yes, it's the same size pie.
Yeah, I mean, I think Mims. I think you're right. I think it's Mims.
So I think, did we answer this one? 12-team Monty. 12-team PPR, Monty, Gibbs. His receivers are Diggs, Adams, CD. Should I give up CD, Gibbs? Is this the same question? Same question.
Yeah, same question. We said that. We answered that one
already. You got to go back and listen. We spent actually a good few minutes on it too. Okay, we'll answer a couple more and then we'll wrap this thing out. Wrap this thing up. Ricky AA, Hollywood versus the Rams. Jacoby Myers versus New England. McLaurin over against Atlanta. Lockett against Cincinnati.
Let's see. Hollywood versus the Rams. Let's start there. Marquise Brown going against Darian Kendrick. It's an okay matchup, about even. Jacoby and the revenge game against New England. I always love it when they come back. Jacoby wants to score a touchdown against Belichick.
What was that previous question? Was it Thielen and Judy? Who was it? Thielen and who?
Who are we starting over? Thielen or who was I forget. I don't know.
Okay.
Senior moment.
I was trying to remember. It's exactly what just happened. Total senior moment.
Let's see what we got though. I'm looking at Jacoby right now. So Vegas, we got.
So what? He's got to start 3. Is that what it is?
Ooh, Jacoby's going against J.C. Jackson. That is a very positive matchup for Jacoby. Jacoby's a play. I like Jacoby this week, and it doesn't really, they move around the defensive backs for New England, but it really doesn't matter if it's Jonathan Jones or J.C. Jackson. They both suck. And so, yeah, I like Jacoby and I like Devontae. I like them both. And let's see who else we got there. McLaurin versus Atlanta. Washington, we got McLaurin's going against AJ Terrell. So McLaurin has a really tough matchup. Lockett versus Cincinnati.
For me, it's Lockett, Brown, and Myers. That would be my 3. Is there anyone else I'm missing?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would go Jacoby first, then Hollywood, then
Anthony agrees. Yeah. All right.
So
we got that. Let's do one more here. Fletcher Cox asking, should I start Rondell Moore or Hunter Henry at flex? Is it tight end premium? That would be my question.
Rondell Moore.
Let us know if that's tight end premium, Fletcher. Hunter Henry against Vegas.
Yeah.
Not the best matchup.
Let me look at real quick. I gotta look at one more thing. The tight ends are a little different.
What's WYM? I'm old, Rob. I don't know these things.
I have no idea. I'm older than you. What are you asking me for?
I know.
All right, let's see. Hold on. Defense versus receiver. Tight ends.
What was it? Rondell Moore, right? We were looking at.
Yeah, and we're looking to see whether it's who is New England is playing. We said,
Vegas.
Yeah, I actually like Hunter Henry over Rondell Moore.
Yeah, especially what you mean. Oh, what do you mean? Well, I was asking what if you're tight end premium. If your tight end score more points for receptions or yardage, I would go definitely Hunter Henry.
I like Hunter Henry either way.
I think Henry either way. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's hard.
I don't have Vegas as being very good against tight ends. I have them as being ranked number 24 out of 32, and it being a positive matchup for Hunter Henry. Whereas Rondale Moore, it's a significantly negative matchup. So if I was to look at the averages, I think I'd go with Hunter Henry.
What about Roshan, Miles Sanders? Last one. This time I promise.
Miles Sanders. Hold on. Let me.
Like they're close. I think they're close. Chicago playing Minnesota, Sanders playing Miami. You got to think Carolina. I don't know that they're going to be running the ball much. I mean, they'll be trying to.
Is Roshan even practicing? He's been in concussion protocol.
Yeah, let me check that for a sec here. Roshan. Anyone have info? Drop a.
Let's see. Yeah, I don't have anything new, but I know Roshan didn't practice yesterday. He was still in concussion protocol. If Roshan comes out of concussion protocol, I kind of let me look though and not just talk. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm not seeing anything in the Twitterverse with regards to an update.
Yeah. It's a tough question because Miles Sanders has Chuba.
It says Roshan didn't practice.
Okay. And Miles Sanders has Chuba. So Chuba. So yeah.
I think I think we're with Jamie. Like if Roshan's playing, you play Roshan. I think that's
it.
Yeah.
That's
the move.
Yeah.
That's the move. All right, guys. Appreciate you guys in the chat. Were awesome. I mean, we filled an hour easily. Rob, for the first kind of true Thursday tailgate where we focus in only on the Thursday night game tonight. We have a divisional match, so it should be interesting. We appreciate you guys joining us in the chat. You guys were awesome with the questions, the comments. Jason, Anthony, Jamie, appreciate all you guys. Ricky, Fletcher Cox even showed up. We appreciate that. What was that funny name? Fat Single Mom. We appreciate her. But join us every Thursday, guys, 12 noon Eastern. Rob and I will be here breaking down the Thursday night game for you guys, helping you, whether it's fantasy, you want to put some props together, looking at the lines, the matchups, whatever it is, we're here for it. And then tonight, make sure you tune in at 7 p.m. Eastern. Also, every Thursday, we do the weekend tailgate. We'll look at the rest of the weekend and some injury updates, player updates. And tonight I've got Kevin Wheeler from the 33rd team. So, Rob, appreciate your time as always. You got any final words before we walk out?
Just grateful, man. Grateful for everybody. Thankful to be here. Happy to try to contribute to the community. And let's win some games and let's win some money.
For sure, guys. Get out there and make some cash. Hope your bets all come through, your parlays blow up, and get those dubs this weekend. We'll see you at 7 p.m. tonight. Check you all later.
Goat District, the Pope listens. Dynasty, our religion, for the blokes missing. On all of these trades, on all of these plays, on all of these grades. By the end of the day, y'all getting played. So, what you gonna do next? Try to fill up that flex? Send the homie a text. That trash offer's the best. You try to make it complex, then they text you back. Now all of a sudden, they don't make any sense. Broaden your horizons, boy. Dynasty's not for the Simons, boy. These trades not for consignment, boy. Respect your opponent, y'all some piranhas, boy. This my advice, from me to you. Open up your cute little podcast queue. Search up GOAT District, my dude. Pop it in your ear, man, y'all know what to do. It's the... And I always be traded. And I always be traded. And I always be trading. Y'all try to betray them, but first you gotta bait them. Fish.